When I was 16 years old, I still loved toys. I know. Specifically Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had a huge collection of them. And one day when I was in the garage, I found this box, and there was an old Ninja Turtle bad guy in there. So I was ecstatic, but at the same time I was disappointed because his head had popped off. So what did I do? I went into my dad's garage drawers and I pulled out some super glue with the idea that I was going to super glue this character's head back on. So I went up into my room, sat on my bed and grabbed the body of the bad guy, undid the super glue cap and started squeezing as hard as I could, but there was no super glue that came out. And I just kept squeezing, not thinking, just squeezing. So then finally I looked up, I stopped squeezing by this time. I looked up and I saw, oh, there's crusty super glue over the opening. And so I picked at it, and the pressure apparently from all that squeezing and pushing made the super glue shoot out into my eye. I super glued my eyes shut when I was 16 years old. So by this time I was hollering for my mom and to help. Nobody came, so I went downstairs, my whole family was down there, and I said, I super glued my eyes shut. Nobody really believed me until they really looked closely and saw that I couldn't open my eye and it was crusted over with super glue. I rinsed it out. It was a mess. It was a Sunday too, so there were certain eye doctors weren't available. But we did get in contact with one. Went down to his office. He was actually having, right in the middle of a family barbecue. He has his apron on and everything. He was doing the grilling. And he actually brought his 2 kids with him because they wanted to see the idiot who superglued his eyes shut. He cut off my eyelashes, did some other stuff. I was squeezing stress balls the entire time because it hurt. The superglue had hardened inside my eye, and so it felt like glass was scraping against my eyes. Yeah, it was pretty awful. I couldn't see for 2 days. I had to wear an eye patch, which I thought was pretty awesome. But so that's the story of how I superglued my eyes shut. This week, I want you to tell me something that's interesting to you. Supergluing my eyes shut is a pretty interesting thing that I like to share sometimes. Not all the time, because it shows how much of an idiot I can be. But I find it interesting, an interesting story. So this week I want you to share with me something interesting. Whether that's a news story that you heard on TV, or a story or some gossip that your friend had told you, that's you just dying to tell somebody, or maybe something happened to you, like the super glue happened to me. Maybe something happened to you recently that you'd like to share that's interesting. As writers, we're always trying to figure out what is interesting. How are we going to get our readers interested? How are we going to get interested in what we are writing? It's a dilemma that all of us face and oftentimes can lead to writer's block. And so after you post these interesting stories, these interesting scenes, whatever it may be, or events, I want you to think, what makes this story or event so interesting? Why am I interested in it, and why might somebody else be interested in it? We'll post these in the discussion board so we can all partake of each other's talents, and we'll see you next week.